So we're going to be talking, like I mentioned, about your first year here in Rome, more of the logistics and specifics about what your time here is going to be like as a first year student. So we are going to cover the pre-departure process and the next steps requirements. So everything that you need to do this summer and all of the next steps required for coming to Rome. And I know there's a lot to do, so we're going to kind of go over that in a list and make sure that you have everything in one place. We're going to talk about the procedures for arriving in Rome. I see most excited to meet new people from May, from Maddie, excited to meet new people and travel. Yes, everyone at Temple Rome, we have an amazing community. So meeting new people is definitely one of the best parts. We're also going to talk about orientation week in Rome, classes and academic advising, life in Rome, transitioning to main campus. We're going to just touch briefly upon that. And then at the end of the session, we're going to have a Q&A. We have 2 alumni here with us. I'll let them introduce themselves in a couple minutes. And then we have some Temple Rome staff here as well, who I'm going to introduce right now. So first we have Dean Zanchina. She's the Dean of Temple Rome. We also have Francesca Cucuvilla, who is the Associate Director of Student Life in the Rome Entry Year Program. So Francesca and I are the 2 main contacts that you all have probably been talking to. And then my name is Emily. I'm the External Relations Coordinator here. So I work a lot with the Rome Entry Year Program and also do some of the communications for Temple Rome. And I just wanted to kind of clarify for some of you guys. I know that there have been a lot of people that you've been talking to. So we here, all the 3 people that you see, we are Temple Rome staff. And I know that some of you have also been talking to staff at the Education Abroad office. So I just want to clarify that if you have any questions about the Rome Entry Year itself or anything regarding coming to Rome for your first year, you can talk to either me or Francesca. You have our emails by now. And I'll show you our emails at the end too. And if you have any questions regarding your visa process, you will be talking to Education Abroad about that. So that's Rosie and Chris, who have already been in contact with most of you regarding your visa, unless you are not, you don't need to get that. And then we also have with us, we have Maddie and Justin. So I'm actually gonna let them talk a little bit. I know that you guys are really eager to hear from other students. So I'm going to have Maddie and Justin introduce themselves, their major, their hometown, and then I would like you guys to just tell us in your own words what you think the real benefit for you was for coming here to Rome for your first year, and maybe some of your highlights of your time here. So Maddie, would you like to go first?
Sure. So I'm Maddie. I am from Philly. I study political science with a minor in Spanish. And I kind of decided on going to Temple Rome because, like I said, I'm from Philly. I was literally born at Temple, which is embarrassing sometimes to tell people. But so I was like, I really needed to be out of Philly, at least for my first year of college. And I figured that it was a really awesome experience to go to Temple Rome. And I think a few of my highlights were meeting all of the people. Like Justin and I are still pretty good friends. And also, like, I lived with a host family, and I'm not sure if that's available for you guys, but for me, that was a really great experience, especially because my host sisters were like, one was my age and one was 2 years younger than us. So it was really awesome to just have people to just like kind of have built-in friends from like the city we were living in. And then other huge highlights, I think, were just being able to like kind of develop like a college persona. I don't like, that sounds weird, but to just kind of come into myself like as a college student abroad, it kind of gave me like the space kind of away from the US to kind of separate myself and see like what I liked and what I actually wanted to pursue. So I thought that it was just like a really great experience to just kind of, it was like a mindset shift kind of to start college. So I thought that was pretty great. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Maddie. Justin, what about you?
Hi guys, I'm Justin. I am from Bethlehem, PA. My major is international business. And what was the third detail?
Hometown, you already said that. And then
Okay.
Any benefit, in your words, the benefits of starting your first year at Temple Rome and any highlights of your time here.
So rolling off what Maddie said, I think one of the greatest benefits I got from my year in Rome was the ability to advocate for yourself, because it's your first year of college, difficult enough in your own country with your own language. then you're throwing in the additional elements of speaking a different language, being in a new country, and it's kind of scary and it gets lonely, but the Temple community really showed up in that regard and made it a comfortable place that I was able to grow as an individual, but also be able to explore my own interests. And I was really happy to connect with the Italian community, which I felt was very welcoming there as well. And I made some friends, some Italian friends as well, who got to show me around and show me parts of Rome that I wouldn't have seen on my own. And, I was really grateful for those things.
Thanks so much to both of you. So Maddie and Justin are going to stay here for the entire event. So if anyone has any questions during the event, feel free to put anything in the chat. We'll answer everything at the end. If you have questions specifically for Maddie and Justin, please ask away. They were here last year, so they have a really recent perspective, and they have a really unique perspective as students. So I know that you guys want to hear a lot from them too. Oops. So I'm going to hand it off to Dean Zankina, who's going to just talk a little bit about Temple Rome and the entry-year program.
Thank you so much, Emily. And I wanted to say that Emily is also someone who studied here. And this is how we got so lucky to then convince her to come back. We have been here for 55 years, which is a lot of time, but not in Rome, the eternal city where everything you walk around has centuries and centuries of history. In the first days when you start walking around, I can tell you the experiences of complete ignorance, because you walk and you just see a statue and you see a fountain and you see some ancient Roman monument and you don't know what they are. And it's impossible to learn even in a year what everything is. But it just becomes such an amazing background to everything that is happening. And you have all of these layers in the city of the ancient, with then, the Renaissance, with then modern history to contemporary and urban culture. So it is a really unique place, one of my favorite cities across the world. This program is something that we started a few years ago, so we expect to have our first graduates. Those who came here to study with us for the first year and then went to Philadelphia, and we expect them to graduate this coming year. And I would like to give credit to Francesca Cucuvilu, who is really the person and the brains behind the program to design it along with the previous dean and really make it happen. So we're very excited to have a very nice cohort coming this fall and to be welcoming you here. Studying abroad in the first year, I mean, there's so many benefits of studying abroad. You get immersed in a new culture. You are challenged with situations that you don't even imagine exist. You have a chance to look at yourself from inside out. You have a chance to expand your horizon. You have a chance to mature. But studying abroad in the first year has additional benefits because you really have the opportunity here to be in a very intimate environment. This program is very boutique, which means that we pay a lot of attention to each and every one of you, and that we have extra support and additional activities throughout the year for our trade students. So the transition from college, it is challenging on the one hand that you are not at home and that you're away across the ocean, but on the other hand, you have the opportunity to develop close relationships with other peers in the program, with your professors, with our team here, and you really get all of this feeling of a community and a family. There's also a lot of research advocating for first year studying away and studying abroad programs, such as statistics that show that students who do their first year abroad are more likely to graduate with higher GPAs. They're better at solving problems. They're better in cultural competencies. They're better critical thinkers. So all of those are things that I hope would become yet one more example of this research of why this is such a good idea. And when I'm saying all of that, I'm not just saying it because I'm the dean. International education is something I firmly believe in, and I have dedicated my entire life and career to it. I was myself a freshman in the US, coming from Eastern Europe many years ago. And there were moments that were difficult, but there were moments that were amazing, and I would not trade it for anything else. If I can think back of my personal journey, I think that this experience of going away in my first year of college really helped me become a mature person, helped me change some things about myself that I didn't like, helped me become a brave person, a courageous one, knowing that no matter what happens, I can do it. If I can move with a suitcase across the ocean and make it on my own, nothing can faze me. So I do hope that you have the same experience, and when you look back down the road many years from now, you would really cherish those memories of your first year, and you would be keeping in touch and coming to visit us for years to come. The program is, I'm sure you know a lot about it, but it's very well designed and structured to help you succeed, and to help you succeed both academically and personally in your personal growth as well. So we have very carefully designed elements of this program, from the specific curriculum and common courses for trade students to orientation and dedicated activities that assure you would not be on your own with anything that you're going through, but also it assures that you will be on a personal journey of success and growth. Emily, back to you.
Thank you so much, Amelia. Just to go off of what Dean Zankina said, and like she mentioned before, I am also an alumni of Temple. I studied abroad at Temple Rome. It, to this day, is still one of the best experiences of my life, and there's no comparison to other programs or other places to go in the world. So I'm, again, really excited that you all are coming here in the fall. So I am going to briefly go over your summer checklist. These are all your next steps, and these are things that you must complete in order to come to Rome this fall. These steps are very important, so I recommend that you just take a picture or screenshot this page so that you remember everything that you need to do. We are sending everything to every student's Temple email, so make sure that you're checking that all the time. All of these steps are in there. All of the links to anything important that we're sending out to you will all be through your Temple email. So just make sure that you are reading everything very carefully. If you have any questions, again, Francesca and I are always here to answer them. So the first thing on your checklist, which most of you should have already done unless you're waiting for your passport, is the student visa application. And this is for non-European Union passport holders only. So I know there are some of you that do not need to apply for a student visa to come to Italy. But everyone else who does need to apply, this is something that you should have already checked off of your list. And your contact for that, as I mentioned before, is Rosie Carlson from the Education Abroad office. And she has already been in contact with all of you, so you should all have her contact information, but we can send that out later if anyone needs it. In addition, and this is part of your visa application, you should have already purchased your flight. Guidelines were sent to your Temple email on May 21st. So if you need to find those guidelines again, look for an email sent on that date. In summary, you need to get a COVID-free flight directly to Rome. So some of the airports that are doing COVID-free flights to Rome are from JFK or from Atlanta. I believe Boston is also doing them. So again, these were all sent to you via your Temple email on May 21st. If you have any other questions, we are happy to answer them, or if you would like to put them in the chat, if you have questions about flights, feel free to do so. So those two steps should have already been completed. Unless you do not need a visa, then you have a little more flexibility of when you could have bought your flight. We strongly recommend getting your COVID-19 vaccine before coming to be fully vaccinated, and Francesca will talk a little bit about that later. And then you will need to complete all next steps. So we have two portals, and this might have been a little bit confusing, so I just want to clarify what is on your two portals. Everyone has your TU portal, and that is where everyone made their deposit. That's where you have your information regarding your placement test, any emergency contact information, anything like that. So that's your main hub for anything Temple. That's eventually where you're going to register for classes. So you really want to make sure you get familiar with TU Portal. And when you log on to TU Portal, there's a section that's called Next Steps, and you will see all the things that you need to do underneath of that. In addition, and these are all next steps relating to Temple in general. And then in addition to TU Portal, you also have your Rome portal, and you can get there by typing in rome.temple.edu/portal, and you can log in with your AccessNet, which is your TU G and the 5 number. It's specific to you as a student. And in your Rome portal, you have all of the information you need for everything regarding coming to Rome. So you have information regarding housing, or you should be getting that pretty soon in your portal, information regarding COVID and the visa application. You should also be uploading your emergency contact information in there too. So there are a lot of different steps that you need to do both on TU Portal and in your Rome portal. In addition, if you need to access your Rome portal, you can go on to TU Portal and it's under one of the next steps. So make sure that when you're completing all of your next steps before you come in the fall, that you complete them both on TU Portal and on the Rome portal. And again, if you have any other questions, please put them in the chat, or you can feel free to reach out to me later. And the last thing on your to-do list is to attend remaining virtual pre-departure orientations. So there are Wednesdays throughout June, we're doing the student workshops. So all students are required to choose one workshop. This is a great place to meet other students in the program, not just the first year students, the Rome entry students, but also study abroad students. So these are sessions for everyone coming to Rome in the fall. Again, it's about Temple Rome in general and daily life in Rome and travel and COVID protocols. So all of these things are relevant to all students coming. And so we actually are having you guys go through these orientations along with the upperclassmen. So this is a great place to meet everyone that's coming into the program. So these, you will sign up for Wednesdays throughout June. Then there's daily life in Rome on July 12th. Make sure you register for that. And then travel, arrival, and quarantine, that will be on August 24th, but you'll have more specific information about what it's going to be like when you come to Rome. And like I mentioned before, keep checking your Temple email for all of this information and for any updates. And lastly, we want you to connect with other students. So we have most of our first year students here, but some of them couldn't attend. We have a Facebook group. I'll actually put the links in the chat. Whoops. Whoops, sorry about that. I just wanted to copy and paste them all and put them in here for you guys so you can access them right away. So the first link is for our Facebook group, and this is for all students coming in the fall. So not just first year students, but also upperclassmen. And this is a great place to meet other students in the program, ask questions, see who's on your flight. A lot of you guys will probably be taking the same flight because you have to arrive on September 2nd. So definitely enter that group and meet people that way. And then in addition, we have a WhatsApp group just for Rome entry year students. And I know that through there, some of you guys have already started an Instagram group. So if you're not already in the WhatsApp group, feel free to join it, ask to join the Instagram group. And you can talk to people through there. And I'm also in that group, and so does Maddie. So if you have any questions at all about coming to Rome and your next steps, anything like that, you can ask any of us any of your questions. So I'm going to hand it off to Francesca to talk a little bit about arriving in Rome.
Thank you, Emily. So first of all, please allow me to say how excited I am to see you all here today. Thank you for joining. I'm also very much looking forward to meeting you in person in fall. We have our biggest cohort of freshman students since we started the program 3 years ago, and I'm very excited about that. It's not just the biggest, it's also the most international and the most diverse as well. So I am confident that each one of you will be a great addition to our community, and everyone is very much looking forward to welcome you on campus in fall. So let's start by talking a little bit about logistics. You know, your arrival date is September 2nd. Because of COVID protocols, your arrival will look slightly different depending whether you travel from. So if you're traveling from the US, make sure you travel on a COVID tested flight arriving on June 2nd. If you're traveling from another European country, another European city, you should arrive as well on September 2nd. If you are arriving from another country, extra EU, which requires a quarantine, you need to arrive on August 23rd. And regardless of where you are traveling from, whether you are arriving on September 2nd or on August 23rd, we will pick you up from the airport and we will take you to your apartment. So for those who are traveling on COVID tested flights, please make sure that you check your flight testing requirements. They differ slightly from where you are traveling from, whether it's JFK or it's Atlanta. However, generally speaking, you will need to present a PCR test taken 48 hours before the departure date. And then you will be required to take a rapid test when you land in Rome. The test in Rome, it's again a rapid test, and it will cost 22 euros, and you will be able to pay that either with credit cards or cash, okay? This whole procedure, I know that it looks a little lengthy, but it will allow you to skip quarantine, the 10 days in post-quarantine. So again, make sure you book, and you should have done that already, I think, a COVID tested flight if you're traveling from the United States. So after that, we have a full week of orientation. I think we can go on to the next slide, Emily. Yes, we have a full week of orientation, and orientation is really where you start to know your classmates and you start receiving information about your future life in Rome and about the program. So you see here some of the activities that we have planned for you during orientation week. So we usually start with the bigger session where you meet the staff. We talk about campus procedures. We talk about resources, emergency services, and how to be healthy while you're here at Temple Rome. Then we go with more specific sessions on safety, how to be safe in Rome. We talk about gender and race in Italy and your daily life, and some tips about traveling. You will also be meeting with me individually for class registration and for advising. We'll talk more in details in a little bit. We also have a session where we talk about any volunteering opportunities that we have at Temple Rome. We are really strong on that. We really like our students to immerse themselves in the culture and to try to integrate as much as possible with the local community. So we really appreciate when students engage in these volunteering activities. Then for students who are from the United States and for students who are from country extra European Union, we will go over the permit to stay procedure. This is a legal requirement that you will need to do while you're here. It's quite a bureaucratic procedure, but don't worry, we'll do it with you, and it's gonna be not too complicated for you. We will also have the Vodafone company coming here on campus to sell either little cell phones and also SIM cards. For those of you who wants to buy an Italian SIM card, remember, having a working phone, it's a requirement of the program. You cannot just rely on your data, on your internet data. You need to be able to make calls and to receive calls. Just because if you happen to be in an emergency, we want to make sure that you are able to connect with us. So either you travel from the US with an international plan, phone plan, or you can buy a plan while you're here at Temple Rome, an Italian SIM card. We have also neighborhood tours and tours of Rome so that you get familiar with the area around campus and also the area around your apartment. Some icebreaker activities so that you get to know each other, and a lot more activities. We also have the highlight of the orientation week. It's our final, it's the way we end our orientation week, and it's a day trip to the medieval town of Todi and Titignano. It's a beautiful location. and we go to this castle and we have lunch all together, a multi-meal, truly Italian meal, which again, it's a tradition of the program and really sticks with our students in their memories for quite a long time. Maybe Justin and Maddie can say something about that later. Okay, so let's talk about classes and advising. So, as you know, at Temple Rome, we very much focus on experiential learning. This means that a lot of your courses will spend some time outside of the classroom, out in the city. This is, again, really to facilitate and speed up that cultural immersion, that cultural integration that we all hope that you will make. So I will show you some of the in the next slide, Emily. There are some of the recent on-site visit that we have done with our students, and these are again just some of those that we provided. But this is just to show you how diverse they are. So we go to the, of course, the Capitoline Museum, for example, to the Vatican Museum, but we also have very special tours of neighborhood in Rome. We take students to the slow food in Rome. So there are plenty of excursions that are in Rome. They can be also outside Rome. They will be part of your learning and of your academic experience. So, as for your academic advising, I know that you are eager to choose your classes. I understand that. I have already received a few emails. So please know, I will be your academic advisor for your freshman year in Rome. And we will meet during the orientation week, as I mentioned earlier, individually, one-on-one, and we will talk about the courses that I have already planned for you to take and the courses that you would like to take. So we will put together an 8-semester grid for you with all of your courses. So we will do registration when you arrive. Don't worry about that. Don't get anxious about that. In the next slide, I will show you the first year academic plan. So this plan, it's quite accurate. It's actually very accurate for a liberal arts student. It's probably a little less accurate for a business student. But as you will see, you will take Italian 101 unless you are Italian, unless you are a native speaker. So you will take either Italian 101, or if you feel like you can be placed on a higher level Italian course, I strongly advise you to take the Italian placement test in your next step that you can find in your next step portal. So you will either take Italian 101 or Italian 102, then you will take the freshman seminar, the first year seminar, 1 credit mandatory course. This is a seminar that all freshman students take regardless of their major. And it's really built to introduce you to college life and to make you comfortable with all of the resources and the tool that you will need to succeed academically during your 4 years with us at Temple University. And then you will take some gen ed courses mainly. So we have, for example, History of Art in Rome, which I like all freshmen to take their first year. This is particularly because this course meets 50% of time on site. So it's really a good way for you to start learning about the city and about the historical heritage of the city. And then we have other general education courses. So this is pretty much how this will look like. Again, for business students, this will differ. Business students will take statistics. They will take econ in their first semester, so it will be a little bit different. But pretty much the general education courses will be taken by all students, regardless of their major. I think it's to
All
you.
right, yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit. I'm gonna start talking about life in Rome, and then Francesca's gonna take over a little bit. So I know that some of you guys might have already seen this slide in our Experience Temple Day presentation, our virtual minute student day, but this kind of gives you an idea of the map of the city. If you're looking at other American or international universities in Rome, many of them are located outside of this map or on the very edges of this map. So Temple has a huge advantage of being right in the center of the city. We're about an 8-minute walk to Piazza del Popolo. So if you see the dot right below the red Temple University Rome dot, you can kind of get a sense for the distance of where Temple Rome is compared to the rest of the city. I would say it's about a 25-minute walk to the Pantheon. Spanish Steps, I'd say maybe about the same, 15-20 minutes. The Colosseum is a little bit longer, as you can see, but it's still very accessible on foot if you want to explore the whole city. So really, Temple Rome is in such a great location. And in terms of your on-site classes, because you'll be going around the city, you're really based in a central location with access to a lot of public transportation. So it's really easy to get to any of the class on-site visits that you'll have to go to. And in addition, we have our student apartments, which you see in this little pentagon here. And this is kind of the radius of where our apartments are located. We have a few different buildings of apartments, and all the first-year students will be living closer together in the same complex. The apartments are about a 10 to 15-minute walk to campus. They're very close to 2 metro lines, and they have many bus stops throughout this entire neighborhood. The neighborhood is called Prati, and it's a really it's a sought out neighborhood. It's a really nice neighborhood. It's safe. It's residential, but also ironically, it's very close to the Vatican. So you have these amazing sites that are right in this neighborhood, but you kind of have the advantages of also being in a quieter space. You have places to go to study. You can explore. There's the Castel San Gandolfo, I think it's called over here. I'm blanking on the name right now. So you have both sites to see in your neighborhood, but also space to live as you would as a normal resident of Rome. So you kind of have the best of both worlds. And in the student apartment, so all students, unless you have family residing in Rome or you're a resident of Rome, are required to live in university facilitated housing for your first year. Maddie mentioned the homestay, which she was staying in before, but due to COVID, we unfortunately can't offer that in the fall semester. But the apartments are wonderful. When I was here as a student, we actually had a different service, and I am very, very jealous of you guys that you're staying in these apartments. They are beautiful. Francesca's laughing because she knows how true it is. They are beautiful. They are modern. Like we saw on the map, they're very close to Temple, so you can just walk to campus. You can walk to the rest of your on-site visits if you would like to. In terms of packing, so if anyone's thinking of a packing list, the apartments include towels and linens, so you do not have to worry about that. Also, the kitchen is stocked with dishes, utensils, pots, pans, appliances, so you don't have to worry about anything that would be in your living space in that sense. All you have to worry about are your personal belongings and any study supplies. In addition, the apartments have light cleaning services. I believe they're once a week, a study space, and there's 24-hour support. And Francesca will talk a little bit about the support services that we have in the next slide.
Thanks, Emily. Yes, so of course, your safety, your well-being, while you're here in Rome, it's really the most important thing. For this reason, all of our students are covered by International SOS insurance while they're here in Rome. And we do have a network of trusted English-speaking doctors with whom we have worked for many, many years. We also have a counselor here on site who is available to students for walk-ins, or if you know, scheduling an appointment, it's available to students every week and no cost. And we also have student life staff who are on call and available for emergency around the clock. This means that if you have an emergency at 2 a.m. in the morning, if there is something that happens that you don't know how to handle, you can call the emergency number. And there is always going to be someone from Temple University Rome answering and guiding you through the next steps and making sure that you get help and that you are safe. We also have resident assistants. We have former students of the program who come back here at Temple Rome for 1 year, and they basically act like resident assistant. They are, again, they've been in the students' shoes. They've recently had that experience of being a student abroad, and they are of great help mentoring our students through their experience while studying here at Temple Rome. So we also have wellness events. We have events that focus on student wellness, on exploring personal identity, having safe and brave conversation among students. And these are very important events that our students are very happy to generally attend. So, of course, it's also very important to talk about COVID and all of the protocols that we have in place. As the Dean has mentioned, we've been one of the few American universities in Italy to operate during spring. We are proud of that, of course, but we will not have been able to do that without having very robust COVID protocols and without the help of all of our students who have been amazing in understanding and following the protocols that we have created. So we have in place COVID-19 testing for symptomatic students. We are trained contact tracer, meaning that we can perform contact tracing interview, and we have staff who has been trained for that and can determine whether a person has had a close contact and needs to quarantine. We also have extra requirements available for students who need to quarantine and for students who need to be in isolation. We still follow the 4 pillars of public health of Temple University, which means, first of all, health checking, making sure that before you come to campus, you don't have a fever, and if you have any flu-like symptoms, you alert the student life team so that we can address that and make sure it's not COVID. We do have hand sanitizing stations throughout the university. Masks are still required in Italy, still inside and outside. We don't know if this will change, but as of now, around the university, everyone is wearing masks, and we are still social distancing. The social distance in Italy, it's 1 meter, which is, Emily, it's 3.2 feet, something like that. Yeah. So it's a little smaller compared to the United States, but it's still something that we have in place. We are, of course, constantly assessing the situation based on the vaccination status of our students and also based on the epidemiological situation here on the ground. And we are constantly revising these protocols. But please know that we are very attentive with regards to putting in place preventive measures, and that we are confident in your collaboration in following our protocols.
So I'm going to hand it off to Maddie actually to talk a little bit about her favorite events at Temple Rome, some of the experiences that she had. Justin, if you have anything to add, feel free to chime in if you would like. Maddie, I think you're muted.
So some of my favorite events at Temple Rome were definitely, I loved the first week, the orientation week. We did a bunch of like crazy different events. Like we went to Todi and Tignano, which was like, we had a castle lunch, which was really cool. I have never been to a castle before, so that was definitely a new experience for me. But there was a bunch of different events like that at Temple that they made, they essentially like made sure that we were able to kind of like get out of our comfort zone and experience a lot of different facets of Italy. So going off of that, we had a bunch of cultural labs that were required. You had to go to one cultural lab a semester for your Italian class. So there was like some tours around different neighborhoods in Italy. There was like graffiti art tours, if I remember correctly. I didn't get to do that one. There's also like Italian with dogs, and what else was there? There's Italian with dogs. There was like an Italian cinema night. So there was a bunch of different opportunities like that. And another one of my favorite things, like during, so like I don't know if y'all still do it, but it's like 12 o'clock, there's a lunch period, so there's no classes. So they would bring in speakers during lunch. So one of them, it was talking about like the music of protest. So it was talking about like bluegrass and jazz music and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed a bunch of like the speaker series that they had coming in. So yeah, and also there was a bunch of volunteering opportunities, and with classes themselves, there was on-site opportunities. So with my art class, we would have like one class we would have one class a week in class on campus, and it'd be like 2 hours, and we'd be talking about the art. And then the next day we would go for 3 hours to like the Vatican museums to visit all of the art that we had just been talking about. So it's like it's very, I don't like majestic, I guess, to be able to see the art that you were talking about. And it makes, I don't know, my parents came during Christmas, and everybody's like, Maddie, why are you taking so many notes? I was taking notes for art class, like my rent was due because my parents were coming, and I wanted to show them that like I was actually learning stuff. So my parents were like, wow, you have such a fascination with art. And I was like, yeah. So I took them basically to every class that we had. Like I took them on campus or on site to all the classes that we had. And I kind of reiterated exactly what my teacher would tell me. But yeah, so there was just so many, I think one of my favorite things was specifically how they tried to demonstrate Italy from a bunch of different perspectives, and how they did that. So yeah.
Thanks, Maddie.
Yeah, so they have a lot of diverse events, and I think something for everyone. I'm into health and fitness, so I did the yoga nights a couple times. I really love that. Especially at stressful times during the semester, it was a really good way to unwind with a group of your peers. I also played calcetto like every chance that I could have, and that was so much fun, and great to compete against my friends and peers in soccer. And there was I forget what exactly it was called, but we were planting plants around the campus. And that was also nice to be able to volunteer for the school in that way. But there's, whatever your interest is, there's something for everyone.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. My personal favorite to add on to you guys has always been the cooking classes. And that's, you learn how to make handmade pasta, you learn how to make homemade tiramisu, and everyone is just eating together. They're eating the homemade pasta that they all made on the spot with Italian chefs. And it's a really great way to meet people, but also take home some Italian skills with you. So anytime I go home, I make homemade pasta for my family. So we have, like Justin and Maddie both mentioned, a lot of diverse events that cater to a lot of different interests, and that really introduce you to Italian culture and Italian language and other Italians. I'm going to hand it off to Amelia now to talk a little bit about your transition from Rome to Philly next fall.
Thank you so much, Emily. One thing that we should always keep in mind is that our goal is to get you to graduate in 4 years. And we need to make sure that your first year here not only provides you with this unique skill set of studying abroad, but also prepares you for integration to main campus and your smooth transition in your sophomore year to a much larger and much bigger campus. So what we do is we have dedicated activities here. We have special orientation sessions. We also keep you on track. So starting with the spring semester, we start working with you to connect you with your main campus advisor, to help you pick specific courses, so that you're on track with things that all other students or other freshmen are doing on main campus. We also try to make sure that you also feel part of the Temple spirit and the house, and we make sure that also culturally you're introduced into the atmosphere on main campus. One thing of the pandemic that has been an outcome of the pandemic in a positive way is that we have found a million more ways to connect with our campus in Philly and our campus in Japan. And we do a lot more activities together, virtually, of course. But we have become complete pros in live events. And I can tell you, when there's a Rome live event, everybody tunes in. If you have not met Johnny again yet, you must do it very soon. So throughout the year, while you're here being immersed in Rome, we will not miss an opportunity to have you connected and learn about life on main campus and what you need to do once you go to Philly and join other students in your sophomore year. Francesca can provide more details on specific activities, and she certainly would be the key person in directing in that transition. What I would like to stress is that this is the first step in a four-year education. It is a very unique first step, but one that makes sure that the rest of your journey at Temple does not miss a beat in any way, academically or personally.
Thank you so much, Amelia. So now I'm going to open it up to questions. I haven't seen any in the chat, but if anyone has any questions for any of us, for me or Francesca, for Dean Zankina, for Maddie, or for Justin, please feel free to either unmute yourself or put them in the chat. I know that we went over a lot of information, so it might be a little bit overwhelming. And like I mentioned, I will send you guys the recording after this, so you can rewatch the video if you would like to, if you need to go over some information again. But if you have any questions right now, please put them in the chat. Is there a virtual tour of the Rome campus? Yeah, so we do have one virtual tour, and this should be in your Temple preview, actually. That is on your next steps in your TU portal. So in your TU portal, you're doing all the pre-departure orientations that we sent you for Temple Rome, but in addition, there is also Temple Preview, which is a online orientation that you do on your own time. It's step-by-step, it's not live. And so the virtual tour of the Rome campus should be in there, but I could also send that to you guys when I send the recording out as well.
Emily, can I just add that for Roman Trier students, you do not need to register for Temple main campus orientation. I know that the portal might have asked you that, and I'm sorry, it triggered that step, which is triggered for all freshman students at Temple. Please disregard it. You don't have to register for main campus orientation. You will get your orientation here in Rome. As Emily just said, you have, however, you have to take the Temple Preview, which is this Canvas module where you learn about Temple, you get some pre-departure information, and that is online, and you can find it in your next steps.
The Temple building, just to give you a brief summary of it. So we are located in Villa Caproni, which you guys will learn a lot more about when you're here. It's a beautiful building, and we have a bunch of newly renovated classroom spaces, lounges. We have a new computer lab that we renovated, I believe, last year. We're about to renovate the library as well. So our space is in a kind of historic building, which is really exciting. And there's a lot of pieces of that history around our building, but we also have smart spaces and great technology that really help you in learning. So the building has a lot of really fun and beautiful features in it. And again, it's very close to the center of the city. When do placement tests need to be completed by? Francesca, do you know that?
Yeah, so the answer to that, it's please as soon as possible, because we need to plan for your courses in fall. So it is very helpful to us to have this placement information as soon as possible. Technically, the deadline is August 29th for main campus. Now you understand how you will be basically almost traveling to Rome on August 29th. So please make sure that you take your placement testing by the end of this month, by the end of June, so that we can make some definitive plans for fall and for the courses that we have to offer.
And another question, where can we find any medical forms that we need before we come to Italy? So that should be in your Rome portal. We have a health questionnaire where you fill out all of your medical information. And obviously this is very confidential. You will let us know if you're taking any medications, and you'll definitely want to talk to your doctor if you are taking any medications to make sure that you bring enough over for when you are in Italy. Maybe Francesca can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, something else that I advise you is that you contact International SOS and you discuss your medical plans with them, because they are very helpful when it comes to finding out if a medication, for example, if a particular medication is also available in Rome. Sometimes our medication just have different names, for example, and they can be very helpful in guiding you through that process. So make sure you go to the Study Abroad portal. You fill out all of the forms with regards to medical, and you also contact International SOS and you speak to them for any medication that you take or any particular medical plan that you will need to have while you are here in Rome.
And a question that relates to this is also, do we need to coordinate things for the healthcare in Rome with our current healthcare provider?
I mean, you can always inform them that you are traveling abroad, and you can ask them what the coverage would be. However, again, as I said, all students are covered by Temple insurance. So the insurance is very comprehensive. It covers pretty much all medical necessity, excluding dental, except for emergency dental procedures and sight. Except for these two things, it does cover medical visits, specialistic visits, and so on. So again, I will inform your medical provider, but you can count on Temple Health Insurance to be active when you're here in Rome.
And how many people will live in one apartment?
So you will be placed in doubles, in doubles bedroom, in apartments that can be of 4 or 6 students. So this again can be either 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms. Usually when there are more than 4 people, there are also when there are more than 3 people, there are also more than 1 bathrooms. Yeah, so you will be placed with other freshmen, with other students in the program, and we ask you to fill out the roommate questionnaire so that we have some information to place you with your best match. You can also request a roommate if you guys have already socialized, you have made some friends, maybe in the meantime on the WhatsApp chat or the Facebook group. You can also indicate your preferred roommate, and we usually are able to accommodate your requests.
Sorry, I'm having a problem with my sound and I can't hear you anymore. I can barely hear you. Can you answer the last 2 questions, please, while I'm trying to figure that out?
So So I answered how many people will be in an apartment between 4 and 6. We also have a question, how many freshmen will be in Rome? So we are expecting a freshman cohort of 14 students, 14, and we are also expecting another around 100 students to join us from Temple University. So we will have a student population for fall that will be around 120, 115 students total.
Thank you. If no one else has any other questions for the last couple of minutes, I wanted to hear from Maddie and Justin, any advice that you guys might have for incoming students, and also your favorite place in Rome, your best recommendation for where students have to go.
I could start. So I think one of my, one of my biggest pieces of advice is just to like be comfortable being uncomfortable, you know, like, because you're gonna mess up regardless. Like there's gonna be some cultural thing that you mess up, like maybe you'll hand someone salt instead of put it on the table, or like maybe, I don't know, like when I was learning Spanish, somebody asked me how old I was and I told them I had 3 brothers and sisters. Like something's just gonna happen and you just have to roll with it, and like it's just gonna happen. And especially in Rome, because it's such like a global city, almost everybody speaks English, so a lot of people are gonna have like the experience of knowing how it is to learn a second language, so they're not gonna judge you. But like if it's your first time learning a second language, like you're gonna judge yourself, at least I do. So just like be very comfortable, or like give yourself some space to be like, all right, I messed up. It's like a learning experience. Don't like kill yourself over it. And also I would say, don't have any expectations when you go into it. Don't be like, all right, I'm gonna go and I am gonna go to Milan and then somebody's gonna discover me as a supermodel. I don't know. Like it's just, if you have expectations, chances are they're going to not happen. Like if they happen, great. But if you have expectations, you're gonna kind of like pigeonhole yourself into only looking for that to happen. And then you're gonna kind of miss other opportunities that could be really cool and could enhance your experience as well. And kind of piggybacking off of that, like be open to other experiences. Like if somebody's like, okay, let's go here this weekend, just like, all right, sure, let me go. If it's like within your budget or something that you want to do or something that you've been interested in, just be like, sure, I can do that. And then wait, what was the second thing?
One place that you recommend that students should go to in Rome.
Okay. I personally am a park person, so I would say easily go to Villa Borghese. It's really close to school, and I lived right there, so I like run there all the time, and it's absolutely beautiful. And then you should also go to Villa Doria Pamphili, which is like a little bit farther and harder to get to, but it's beautiful and it's a little less like built up as a park. Like it's a little bit more natural. So both of those parks are absolutely beautiful. I would say go there, and then yeah, those are my 2 places I would say to go to.
Yeah, Villa Pamphili is also one of my favorites too. Good taste. Justin, what about you? Do you have any advice and any favorite places in Rome?
So the advice I would have is to not be afraid to branch out, even to just speak to random Italian people. Because one of my closest friends there I made was Italian, and through him, my Italian, I think I learned a lot more Italian a lot quicker than other students because I was able to practice with him, and he showed me places in Rome that I wouldn't have seen on my own, like his neighborhood, San Lorenzo. And yeah, like Maddie said, just don't be afraid to say yes to an opportunity, even if you're not sure you might like it, because you're not going to have another chance, like, you know, to study in Rome again. So go and try everything you possibly can there. But in terms of more specific things, I think one really helpful thing to do to sort out before you get there is to figure out your finances and bank with someone that won't give you trouble taking out money overseas, or that you can take out at ATMs at any place. Because that was a big question a lot of times, like, oh, will I get a fee for taking out money here, or stuff like that. And one place I would recommend to see, I think it was called La Terrazza del Gianicolo. Is that right? It has an amazing view of the city, and it's a pretty popular date spot as well. But that was one of my favorite places to visit.
Thank you both so much. And yes, Maddie wrote in the chat as well, bring some cash for the first few weeks in Rome in case your bank is being weird. One thing I recommend is you can actually ask your bank for euros. It's probably better to ask for euros in the States instead of changing them from dollars to euros here, because you get charged a fee to change that, a conversion fee. So that is a great recommendation, to bring some cash. You can use it at the airport to pay for your test, and you can use it for your first couple of days in Rome to just get some groceries, just in case you need to tell your bank about your credit card and take out money during your first couple of days in Rome. So thank you guys so much for spending your morning here with us. Like, just, yes, your cash is your friend in Rome, like Justin said, very true, although that is changing a little bit. If you guys have any other questions at all, please feel free to either email me or Francesca. We are both here to answer any questions that you have. We're really excited to talk with you guys. We're so excited to have you here next year, and we can't wait to see you here in person in September.